Harlem at night had a rhythm of its own. Streetlights flickered over cracked sidewalks. Storefronts hummed with the final stirrings of late-night business, and the air carried that mix of music, chatter, and occasional sirens that made the neighborhood feel alive. For Luke Cage, Harlem was more than just a place to live. It was his home, his responsibility, and his battleground. Every alley and corner was familiar. Every cry for help something he could not ignore. With skin as hard as steel and a heart set on protecting his people, Luke had long accepted that trouble often found him before he could even go looking for it. Yet what was coming to Harlem this night was not the usual trouble. This wasn't a gang war, a crooked politician, or a street-level drug dealer. This was something ancient, something that had crossed stars and worlds to find him, or rather to find prey worthy of the hunt. Far above Earth's atmosphere, a cloaked ship drifted silently, its instruments locked onto the energy signatures of the planet, scanning for strength, conflict, and challenges that promised glory. Inside, a lone Yautja warrior, the Predator, prepared himself for what was to come. His race lived for the hunt, and Earth had long been a favorite proving ground. Its mix of unpredictable terrains and resilient species made it an arena worthy of their blood rituals. But this hunt was different. The Predator's clan had whispered of a human unlike the others, a man with skin that could not be pierced, bones that would not shatter, and a reputation for surviving what killed lesser men. That human was Luke Cage. The Predator, taller than any man and clad in his biomask, felt the hunger of the hunt sharpen within him. To him, humans were fragile things, but every now and then one would rise, one would stand against impossible odds. Such prey was the measure of honor. Already, trophies adorned his ship, skulls of xenomorphs, armored beasts from distant worlds, and warriors from Earth itself, but none with unbreakable flesh, none like Luke Cage. The Predator's mandibles clicked in anticipation. Harlem was about to become his hunting ground. Back on Earth, Luke Cage was wrapping up his night. He had broken up a turf dispute near 145th Street, saving two teenagers who had been caught in the crossfire. The boys had scattered, terrified but alive, while Cage dusted off his yellow shirt riddled with bullet holes, holes that never reached his skin. He had heard whispers of strange disappearances in Harlem, bodies showing up mutilated, spines missing, skulls stripped clean. At first he thought it was some deranged serial killer or gang message, but the brutality was unlike anything he had ever seen. Harlem don't need this kind of mess, Luke muttered to himself as he made his way down an alley, senses sharp. Not on my watch. The Predator watched him from above, perched invisibly with his cloaking device engaged. Through his thermal vision, Cage burned like a furnace of energy and life, his dense muscles radiating heat and strength, unlike any human the Predator had stalked before. He activated his wrist gauntlet, cataloging Cage as potential prey. His honor code demanded he study his target before striking, but there was no doubt this was the quarry he had come for. That night, Cage found the first sign that something unnatural was at play. The alley was silent, too silent. He caught the faint glint of something metallic wedged into the brick wall. Pulling it free, he examined what looked like a razor-edged throwing disc, still humming faintly with energy. It wasn't a knife, wasn't any weapon he had ever seen in Harlem. Cage's gut told him one thing: something wasn't right. Then he felt it, that eerie sensation of being watched. Luke wasn't new to that feeling. Years of fights had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now they were screaming. He raised his voice, his tone calm but commanding. Whoever you are, you picked the wrong block. Harlem don't play host to stalkers. Above him the Predator clicked softly, a mocking imitation of Cage's words, distorted through its vocal mimicry. Cage froze, eyes narrowing. Okay, he muttered. So it ain't just some punk. The Predator leapt down, still cloaked, the faint shimmer of light revealing only a distorted outline. Luke braced himself as the massive figure circled him, invisible but very much there. For the first time in a long while, Cage felt the weight of real danger pressing down on him. This wasn't just another gangbanger with a gun. This wasn't Diamondback, Cottonmouth, or any of the foes who had underestimated his strength. This was something other, something that lived for the hunt. As Cage clenched his fists, ready for whatever came next, the predator revealed himself. The shimmer faded, and there he stood in full form, towering, dreadlocked, armored, his mandibles spreading wide in a hiss that sent a chill down Luke's spine. In one hand, the predator held a spear that retracted and extended with a metallic snap. In the other, a plasma caster mounted on his shoulder hummed with lethal energy. Luke blinked once, then smirked. "Man, I've seen some ugly fools in my time, but you take the cake." The predator roared, a guttural sound that echoed through the alley, shaking windows and rattling trash cans. Luke Cage stood his ground. He didn't know what this thing was, but he knew one thing. Harlem was his turf, and no alien, no monster, no hunter was going to claim it. The hunt had begun. The alley pulsed with a tension so sharp it felt like the air itself could cut. Luke Cage stared down the towering alien, his fists clenched, every muscle coiled and ready. The predator stood across from him, mandibles flaring, its biomask's lenses glowing faint red. Around them, Harlem's usual rhythm fell into silence, as though the city itself held its breath for what was about to unfold. Luke took a step forward. "I don't know who sent you or what you think you're hunting, but you made the biggest mistake of your life coming here." The predator answered with a roar that rattled the fire escapes above. In a blur of motion, it launched its first attack. The plasma caster on its shoulder lit up with a blinding flash and fired a bolt of energy directly at Luke. The alley exploded in a shower of sparks and fire, bricks raining down as the walls shook from the blast. When the smoke cleared, Luke stepped forward, his shirt scorched but his body untouched. "That all you got?" he taunted, brushing ash off his shoulder. The predator tilted its head, intrigued. Most prey would have been vaporized. This one was different, perfect. It lunged, spear snapping open into full length, slicing through the air toward Luke's head. Cage ducked, the blade sparking as it grazed the brick wall. With a grunt, Luke swung his fist, connecting with the predator's chest plate. The impact sent the hunter skidding backward, smashing into a dumpster with a metallic crash. The predator growled, rising, its armor dented where Luke's fist had landed. Cage's strength was impressive, more than impressive. It was unnatural. The hunter switched tactics, activating his wrist blades with a sharp snick. Two serrated claws extended from each gauntlet, gleaming under the moonlight. Luke planted his feet as the alien charged again. The predator slashed with blinding speed, blades slicing the air. Luke weaved, blocking with his forearms. Sparks flew as steel met unbreakable skin, the sound shrieking like nails on metal. Luke countered with a devastating uppercut that caught the predator under the chin, snapping its head back. But the hunter was relentless. It absorbed the blow and retaliated, slamming its shoulder into Cage with the force of a charging bull. Luke staggered back, the ground cracking beneath his boots. Before he could recover, the predator's net gun fired, ensnaring him in a web of energy mesh that tightened like a vice. Luke grimaced, muscles straining. The net dug in, sparking as it tried to cut into his flesh, but his skin was stronger. With a roar, he flexed, tearing the net apart in a burst of shredded wires and sparks. "I told you," he growled. "You picked the wrong man." The predator's mandibles clicked furiously in frustration. Few prey had ever escaped the net. Cage charged, tackling the hunter with raw power. The two crashed through a brick wall into a closed barber shop. Luke grabbed the predator by the throat, slamming it against the wall hard enough to crack plaster. He rained down punches, each one echoing like a drumbeat. The predator's mask dented under the relentless assault until, with a final strike, it cracked and flew off, clattering across the floor. For the first time, Luke saw the alien's face, four mandibles flaring, yellow eyes burning with primal fury, its monstrous visage exposed. Cage froze for only a second. "Damn, you're even uglier without the mask." The predator shrieked, its claws flashing as it slashed across Luke's chest. Sparks flew, but the skin held. Cage grunted and responded with a headbutt that rocked the alien's skull. They grappled, two titans locked in a brutal contest of strength, crashing through walls and leaving destruction in their wake. Finally, the predator disengaged, leaping backward with an inhuman flip. It tapped its wrist gauntlet, activating a new weapon. From its belt, a smart disc unfolded, humming with deadly energy. It hurled the disc, and it sliced through the room like lightning. Luke barely ducked, the disc cutting a barber pole clean in half before returning to its master's hand. "All right, enough play," Luke snarled. He charged again, this time with unrelenting fury. He took the hit from the predator's spear head-on, snapping the weapon in two with his bare hands. The predator struck with its wrist blades, but Luke caught its arm, twisted, and with a sickening crack, broke it at the joint. The hunter roared in agony, but Cage didn't stop. He hammered the alien with blow after blow, fist slamming into its chest, its ribs, its skull. The predator, bleeding green ichor, staggered but refused to fall. With its remaining strength, it activated its self-destruct gauntlet, the last honor of the Yorkshire, when defeat was certain. Symbols blinked red, a countdown flashing on its arm. Luke saw it, his eyes narrowing. "Oh no, you don't." With a roar, he ripped the gauntlet from the predator's arm, wires sparking as he hurled it through the window into the street. The device exploded in a fiery blast, blowing out car alarms and shattering windows, but far from the fighters. The predator, weakened and disarmed, lunged one final time. Luke met it head-on, delivering a punch so powerful it lifted the alien off its feet and sent it crashing through the shop wall into the alley outside. The hunter lay still, mandibles twitching, its body broken. Luke stood over it, chest heaving, fists still clenched. "Harlem's mine. You hear me? You don't hunt here." The predator gave a final clicking growl, eyes dimming, then silence.